experienced this where I wore a nursing cap. I got, oh, you shouldn't wear that. You're male. I got fired for that. I went to the EEOC, but unfortunately the state of Nebraska does not cover that. Federally it might, but in the state of Nebraska, no. What this job told me is that I had lied on my application, and that was the reason. I had lied on my application.
What was the lie that you were accused of having told on your application blank?
I had not previously put another job that I had worked for, and that was my lie.
That you did not what?
I did not apply. I worked for another nursing home, and I didn't put it on my application, and that was my lie.
So the failure to put something on your application was the lie?
Yes.
And the last job you had, you were actually fired from?
That was the job I got fired from.
Okay,
for
and
the
it
hat.
was for wearing a hat?
Yeah.
Are you competent as a nurse?
Yes, I am.
If I had an ailment and you could treat it, I wouldn't care what hat you wear. I want to know, can you treat me just as I am not a corpuscle of religion in my body? If I needed a heart operation, I wouldn't ask the doctor, are you Catholic, Baptist, Methodist, or Presbyterian? I'd want to know, are you a competent surgeon? So what you say, I think, highlights the problems that exist. But as yet, Nebraska has not reached as a society the level of maturity and understanding that marks an evolving society. The people who, like you, are willing to come before everybody and express what you have will bring us a step closer to that goal. So you shouldn't feel that what you said today is in vain, or that all the bad experiences you've had necessarily diminish you. I know people say often, if it doesn't kill you, it will make you stronger. Well, in your situation and my situation, we sometimes feel like saying, if it doesn't kill us, it makes us tired. That's all I have. Thank you.
Consideration when you, or how you see those three characteristics of the Civil Rights Act match with what you're trying to do with your bill.
Sure. I think that overall the Civil Rights Act is incredibly important to the fabric of our civil rights law in this great state and across our great country. However, federal law is distinguishable from state law for a variety of reasons, not to go into a treatise on the importance of federalism, et cetera. But I think that those were considerations that Congress looked at when adopting that legislation. I think the legislation that I have before you has some similarities and many differences. When we talk about protected classes in Nebraska, for example, if you do an exhaustive study of our existing statutory framework, you will find that other protected classes under Nebraska law, like gender, race, etc., are not defined, but rather are taken up with their usual and ordinary meaning.
Thank you, Senator Conner.
Thank you, Senator.
Just one.
Senator.
Some people have mentioned that the class must have something about it which is unchangeable, but nobody has ever challenged the fact that the current non-discrimination law includes marital status, which we understand is constantly changing, and even
for some folks more than others. Yes.
Right, and in more ways than one.
That's right.
Physical or mental disability are both capable of being altered, so I don't think that's even anything that needs to be considered. And the Code of Judicial Conduct specifies sexual orientation, which cannot be a basis for a judge to show bias or discrimination. So does the Code of Professional Responsibility that governs lawyers. It has the same protection, and these are within the Supreme Court rules of Nebraska, so nobody could argue and be taken seriously that the legislature cannot do what is being undertaken now. I just thought I'd put that into the record.
Yes, thank you, Senator Chambers. I appreciate that, and that was a more specific answer to what I alluded to in my response. I think that Senator Coash is right to look to other civil rights statutes for guidance, but I do not believe that they would be controlling in any regard on the discussion before us today.
Yes, Senator Christensen.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Senator. So, since you haven't defined the sexuality part of it, so you're saying it could be bisexual, polygamy, could be all these categories?
The term is sexual orientation, and
Yeah.
that would be taken with its common and traditional meaning.
So it could include all of them?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, thank you.
I think it would be taken to mean sexual orientation, and I think that it would not be considered within its normal and traditional meaning to include some of the terms that you utilized.
But being bisexual would be,
Bisexual, yes. Polygamous, no.
thank you.
That's not an orientation.